Welcome back, everyone. I am Cas Piancey. I'm joined, as usual, by my partner in crime, Bennett. We're both dressed exactly the same because we're recording one episode right after the other, so no need to check in. We already know how we're both doing. We are going to be talking about something that I'm surprised we haven't addressed in the months and months and months, years, I guess now, that it's been going on. But we're going to be talking about Worldcoin today, which is now officially released. So I guess now is the time to discuss it. If you're not familiar with Worldcoin, I'll just quickly bring you up to the basics of it, which is to say that it is a token associated with what are called the orbs. And these orbs are iris scanning orbs, like literally orbs. They're about this big, and you put your face up to it and it scans your irises. And in places outside of the US and a few other countries, you get Worldcoin for it. You get this token for scanning your eyeballs. I don't know if it's like 25 Worldcoin, something like that, right? You get some amount of Worldcoin for scanning your eyeballs. In the US, you get nothing for scanning your eyeballs. So that is a beautiful benefit for giving up your personal data, is that you get nothing. Why are they scanning irises? This is a proof of personhood concept where they are proving that you are a human being. This is by the same guy who brought us openai. So the idea is that we need to start worrying about AI's ability to imitate humans, and we're going to need to come up with some way quickly to counter this, and the bet they're going with is iris scans. I think I've got that pretty much right. What did I miss, Bennett? Go ahead.
Are you sure they're iris? I thought they were retina.
It's iris scanning, I think.
So yeah, as you mentioned, there's these orbs. They scan your eyeball, and then they generate from that a key. This key corresponds to your address in a cryptographic way. And it is all supposed to be done in a way using zero knowledge proofs, where you can where this can be revealed without necessarily revealing you. And like you mentioned, the idea they wanted to solve is various forms of Sybil attacks. In cryptocurrency, this can sometimes be one person running a lot of addresses, or as you mentioned, in the future, this might be AI agents pretending to be human in cases where we only want humans involved. The problems with it are myriad, but I think what's especially fascinating is some of the reporting that came out when they first launched the orb, where there were stories of people being coerced to effectively give up this biometric data, and were being forced to effectively then transfer the coins they were given to other individuals, right? Where the people who were giving up their identifying information were not actually getting the supposed reward, and that was one of the interesting dynamics when they first launched these orbs.
There's also been other issues with this, and the one that's concerned me the most that I heard about was, and we're specifically talking about gaming the system here, both you and I. The one that I heard about was that Chinese investors or not investors, I don't know what the term is for this according to them, but people who were given the orbs to go scan eyeballs with them, the people who were given that duty in China were going to places like Myanmar and other Southeast Asian countries, bribing people with, I don't know, something cheap, right? Like a cigarette or whatever, right? Something that they could hand out to thousands and thousands of people. And in return, they were giving them nothing, right? They weren't giving them their data. They weren't giving them their coins. There was no trade-off here. They were just fucking taking these people's data, harvesting it for themselves, and then able to accumulate thousands, millions of Worldcoin, whatever. That's pretty scary. That is really unfortunate. But also, again, none of this shocks me. Like people are going to be greedy and there's a system that can be gamed. Wow, I can't believe this is happening. But I think part of the issue the reason we're talking about these two examples, for instance, is because if it's so easily gamed by people right now, just greedy people, why would you think this would be able to stand the test of a very, very intelligent, hyper-aware AI? Or, right? Like I am certain there are considerations not being made for how this could be attacked and destroyed.
And broadly, like, let's imagine we accidentally create Skynet. Why wouldn't the, AI, like you're saying, go on Craigslist and post an ad and take advantage of the people who show up, right? Pay someone to go stand out there with the orb or whatever and like do whatever to try to inappropriately fool this system. And broadly, is having an address tied irrevocably to your biometric information that tracks your various interactions really desirable? I understand the point of Worldcoin is that these zero-knowledge proofs may prevent that information from being wrongfully exposed, but man, it feels like you're putting a lot on that assumption.
Yeah, and to be fair here, I think a lot of the argument against what we're even saying right now would be you're giving a lot of trust to all sorts of people right now. Like you are trusting the government with your social security number and other data, like important data. You're trusting your credit card companies with, or your banks with a bunch of important data. And these people have leaked data time and time again. So, are we safer now necessarily than with this thing? I don't know about that.
I mean, we're objectively worse, right? Because those things still exist. Those things will continue to exist. This is in addition to that.
Oh, a new attack vector, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, but the goal and I don't know if this is still one of the things that's mentioned with Worldcoin, but I know that there's like people who see this as like a way to move forward with universal basic income or some other like societal, they try to spin these projects as like a societal value add, right? That this would ultimately be a good thing for society to have. And they'll spin that any way they can, whether that's like you believe in UBI or maybe you're scared of AI or, whatever it is, they're going to fucking spin it so that you also believe in this thing. And Worldcoin has been really good at that. And I do see right now kind of there's certainly hype. I don't know how else to put it. There's some hype going on with Worldcoin right now. And I think one of the common refrains I've seen on like from multiple journalists is this angle of like, well, I talked to Sam Altman about Worldcoin and, Sam seems like a good guy. And I'm like, okay. I'm sorry.
The guy with the bunker and the guns, the guy with the gun bunker. That's the good guy.
Look, regardless though, like I'm not gonna. You and I both don't know Sam Altman, and like to be quite honest, I don't care to ever meet him. I don't care about meeting super rich VCs who have bunkers and stuff. It's not a concern or it's not a care for me. It's not something I think about.
That's why you won't survive the AI apocalypse.
Yeah, the AI apocalypse. Terminator will take me out, but you know what? That's okay. I'm okay with that. Anyway, I don't care if he's a good guy, is my point. He could be the best guy. And you know what? They keep saying his intentions seem very good. I don't know why no one has heard the phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That it is a phrase for a reason. These generalizations exist because there's like historic, you see it time and time again. Lots of fucking creepy weirdos had the best intentions. That doesn't matter what their intentions were. What matters, this gets into a bit of what we were talking about with EA too, but like this is actions speak louder than words. And you're making like the panopticon here. Why would I be like, oh, but he is nice though. He's making the panopticon, but he's like a very nice guy.
That's a kind of hilarious reference for you to make in this case, because Sam Bankman-Fried personally said that his like favorite philosopher was Jeremy Bentham, a utilitarian philosopher who created the panopticon, and believed that the creation of a panopticon was the thing that would create a moral and just society.
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean that. I almost feel like a lot of these wealthy VC guys, a lot of them are on board with Worldcoin for what it's worth, right? They've partnered. I don't know who their partner are. Are they with A16Z? I feel like that would make sense if they were funded by A16Z. I don't know.
I don't know off the top of my head. Broadly, I don't really think that it matters which VCs pretend they like Sam Altman and Worldcoin. They just want to make sure that next time
Nailed
he's
it. I
fundraising,
fucking nailed it, dude. I knew it.
Oh yeah,
I knew
A16Z
it.
led the round.
I knew it. They're so predictable. They are so predictable. Not to revel in it.
A16Z loves investing in Y Combinator people. That's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, but they also love investing in fucking creepy crypto projects too. And that is as long as that's been happening, they have been leading those rounds as well. I just can't stand them.
Invested in the token offering and the VC rounds.
Yeah, good for them. They also are, for what it's worth, I know this is off topic, but there's a lot of discussion right now going around about A16Z dumping their maker coins because, they have failed to do well with them, and so now they're just market dumping. Part of my point here is that Worldcoin is getting invested in by A16Z and Multicoin Capital and Khosla Ventures, all of these guys. They're not investing in them because they believe in UBI and want to make the world a better place. That's not why they're investing in Worldcoin. They're investing in it because they want to make a fucking buck. And the best people to make a buck off of is retail backs. That's always the answer.
Well, and the other way to be confident you're going to be able to capitalize on that is investing in someone who you've already been able to capitalize on, like getting liquidity from their things, right? It's like if someone's already been successful, it's way easier for them to raise money because VCs become convinced that, like, well, at the very least, we'll have a chance to sell this before he totally burns it down, right?
Yep. It's also worth pointing out that neither one of us is calling WorldCoin like a scam. It's not like a fraud. I
think it does what it describes. I think it's just a bad thing.
Exactly. We don't like the product. We don't like who's involved in the product, and we don't like what they think is like the good things about it. None of it seems like a positive to us, and that's why we're talking about it. It's not because it's a fraud. It's not because it's a scam. It's not. We're not making any claims like that. Yeah, I do think that the excuse of like good intentions and who knows, and maybe some good can be brought with this. It's not good enough for me. I don't like that. I don't like that as an excuse. I think it's weak, and I don't think this, as you said, I don't think this product, like I think it's a terrible product. I think it shouldn't exist as a product. And while I'm not hopeful that it disappears, I'm obviously, I think it's important that you and I discuss it and voice our own personal opinion against this thing that they're making all these broad claims about.
Two separate things I want to add. One, I personally hate it because I personally hate innovation and innovators personally. I think they're bad people, And two, I do think it's going to eventually fade to obscurity. I don't think WorldCoin solves in a meaningfully better way any of the actual problems people are encountering. They'll be able to expand their network for as long as they're paying people to give up their initial information. But after that, it will gradually die out, as most of these products do, because most people don't actually want to use them. And again, as we keep circling around, this doesn't actually solve like a clear and pressing need for its users.
No. It doesn't. We forgot two of their most important backers, Three Arrows Capital and SBF. They took money from all kinds of great folks. I don't know. This project sucks. The reasoning for it sucks. I don't trust the people involved. I don't trust the people investing in it. It has trouble written all over it. Also, the reason it's not being offered in the United States is because it would be an unregistered security if they decided to do that. And I think that's clear because they're not giving away these coins in America, which, okay, fine. I guess they don't want to go through the proper paperwork or whatever it would take to make this available to U.S. citizens. I don't know what the trading policy is for it for American citizens. I'm sure you can hold it.
I mean, where is it listed?
Well, yeah, getting your hands on it is a whole different story. That probably does involve some weird illegal shit, but whatever. Who knows? Maybe you could just do P2P. That's not illegal. Having someone with some WorldCoin in a different place sell it to you wouldn't be illegal, I don't think. I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea. It's just an interesting thought I'm considering right now because I know there's going to be a lot of Americans who are going to get their hands on it, and I'm trying to be like, well, they're not violating any law, but maybe they're violating a law just, however they're figuring out a way to get it. Regardless, though, that's not the people I want. I just wish, like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of people are pretty ready and willing to give up their biometric data for very little, which I don't know. I guess there's other arguments here that I've heard. You give the government, you have to give your government biometric data to get the whatever it's called, like fast pass stuff for being at the airport. TSA pre-check, and there's the other one. There's two different kinds. There's TSA pre-check and some other method. Okay. And one of those is eyeball retina scan, I think, and one of them is another form. That, like, just to be clear here, that provides like some pretty sincere value. Like, that is quite a valuable resource for a lot of people. If you're traveling all the time, being able to skip these big lines and do your thing, that is a super valuable resource to them. Definitely worth more than 25 made up fucking coins on a blockchain.
I'll also add the stance that our abuses are no worse than those of the United States government. Perhaps not the best selling point you can come up with for your private company.
Yeah, fair, right? Yeah, hey, the Chinese government also collects all this information. What's the big deal? I mean...
that would be the deal.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, this is a pretty fast episode. I don't think there's much for us to say. We're not violently opposed to them to them like existing as an entity. We're not trying to convince people they're scamming you. We just disagree with why they exist and why they pretend that they're important. I don't know. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add about this project?
The last thing I want to close on is I think Worldcoin is a good example of the kind of jargon washing that can happen, where you take a bad idea, scanning people's eyeballs and giving them a Chuck E. Cheese token, and you run it through enough buzzwords, AI, biometric data verification, Sybil resistant, zero knowledge proof, censorship resistant transfers. And by the time you've gotten through all your buzzwords, people have forgotten that your pitch is we'll scan your eyeball and give you Chuck E. Cheese tokens. And there's a lot of projects in cryptocurrency that do fundamentally that same trick. They layer enough jargon and bullshit on top of the fundamentally bad idea that they hope enough people will forget that it's a fundamentally bad idea. And I think that's what Worldcoin is. I think it probably does exactly what they say it does. It's just not a thing we need anything doing.
Yeah, and a lot of our listeners have actually been pointing out that Cascoin collects hair samples from everyone who buys it. That we also take blood samples, stool samples, and like keep a host of other data about every Cascoin holder. And I just want to point out that it is not the same, and Cascoin is like decentralized, and that data, while it is sold on the open market, and it does have your name and address and all of your data like associated with you, like attached to it. It isn't like it's anonymous. That is important. Like, don't you want to get served good ads? And that is what I want to close on. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back soon.